Making the move from city to countryside is often a momentous step.
Oh wow, wisteria up the front. Butterflies for this one.
But for many years, Escape to the Country has been helping countless people on rural adventures.
Oh, wow.
It's beyond my wildest dreams.
We've travelled to the most picturesque pockets of Britain.
What's going through your mind?
I've got tingles. I'm hoping those are tears of joy.
To showcase thousands of exquisite country properties.
Oh, this is perfect.
I think this is awesome.
Not all missions are straightforward.
Look at that face! Look at that face!
But they are often invaluable journeys that can lead to a whole new way of life.
I am genuinely speechless.
Yeah, they are big views. Wow.
I think it's a bit magical.
So join us as we catch up with those who transformed their lives when they escaped to the country.
Welcome to the Welsh Borders, a part of the world I am lucky enough to call home. It's always a huge treat helping buyers escape to the country here, and as you can imagine, I can certainly vouch for the quality of country life you'll find if you too decide to move here. And as for the landscapes, well, I think you'll agree, they pretty much sell themselves. Well, on today's show, two sets of buyers who themselves chucked in city life to make the move here. Couples who I now like to think are both friends and neighbours.
For this supremely Anglo-Welsh adventure, we'll be back and forth between England and Wales, where we introduced our house hunters to homes along the border counties from Shropshire down to Monmouthshire. Later on, I'll be catching up with Gerald from Wales and his partner David, who I met back in 2017. But first, I'll be reacquainted with English pair Chris and Tracy, who I was house hunting with just 9 months ago. This retired couple were looking to swap their frenetic lives in the London suburb of Sydenham for the peace and quiet of the beautiful borderland countryside. Back in October of 2020, the country had just entered the three-tier system of local lockdowns. And as we all continued to social distance, there was a national surge of interest in moving away from densely populated areas. Something which had been a long-term dream for Chris and Tracy.
It'll be nice to go somewhere where there are far fewer people. That will be a big plus, I think, quieter roads.
Yeah. We've always talked about moving to the countryside at some point. We used to think we'd like to go and live by the seaside because we love water, both of us. But then we realised that seaside's actually quite busy. So we think Shropshire and that sort of area will give us tranquility that we're looking for.
Chris was a former transport worker and Tracy a retired civil servant, but they weren't looking for somewhere to completely put their feet up.
We're really excited about the next phase of our lives. We're both retired, but we're not really ready to be retired completely. So we'd quite like to have a small business to run, maybe some holiday lets.
Our view is to do something maybe seasonal, shut down during the winter, and that's when we like to go and travel a bit and go and see some of the places that we haven't had the time or the money for in the past. So that's the dream, really.
For their ideal home in the countryside, Chris and Tracy needed 3 bedrooms for themselves, plus separate holiday lets or land for a glamping business, and they were flexible about living on either side of the border. Selling up in London afforded them a fantastic budget of £1 million to purchase a property and pay for any work that might be required. We began our search in southwest Shropshire, in the tranquil hamlet of Gildon Down. The first property I showed them was an attractive barn conversion packed with period features.
Right then, Tracy and Chris, we thought we'd start with this one.
Wow, stunning. That's the only word, isn't it?
Beautiful setting and a beautiful looking property.
The current owners bought this about 32 years ago. They are experts in working on period properties. And so what they have done is inject this with probably tons of reclaimed materials.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Has that whetted your appetite?
Very much so.
Can't wait to get inside.
Yeah? I'll let you into a secret. It's probably just what I'm looking for as well. Come and have a look.
Part of it was still under construction, but we began at the completed end in the beautifully renovated reception room that took Tracy's breath away.
It's really cosy.
And this vaulting, of course, is gorgeous as well, making use of that single-storey element. But, of course, most of what you see in here has been put into it.
No, it's beautiful. You wouldn't know that this has been created.
Yeah.
Sympathetic additions continued throughout the rest of the property. A spacious bathroom boasted a cast-iron roll-top bath, and perhaps most striking of all was the enormous kitchen diner with vaulted ceilings and a vast shelving unit rescued from a grocery store.
It's astounding, isn't it?
Oh, my life. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
It's not often, but I am genuinely speechless.
They've clearly designed the interior of this around some very well-chosen pieces.
Our dining table actually would be perfect in here, wouldn't it?
It would.
It's just gobsmacking, isn't it?
There was a spacious workshop, 2 attractive bedrooms, and the required third was still a work in progress within the project part of the property. But I was pleased to hear the necessary improvements hadn't put them off.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah. This is going to be such a stunning room. You can see the potential in them with the light and the positioning.
The idea of taking on something that's absolutely perfect is a little bit uncomfortable for me. I'd like to be able to just tweak something to make it properly ours, and this has definitely got that option.
Outside, there were 2 ponds to attract wildlife and almost 4 acres of grounds, including landscape gardens, delivering more space than they'd imagined for their potential hospitality plans. But the price needed to reflect the work needed to make their plan a real possibility.
What do you think this is going to be on the market for then?
750?
I'd probably say 775.
Asking price on this is £675,000.
Okay.
Okay.
A bit teary there, Tracy.
That figure, a massive £325,000 under budget, left Chris and Tracy with more than enough to complete the renovation and create a holiday-let business.
I'm really blown away by it. It's very unusual. It's got so much potential. It's got the peace. You can't hear anything. And we've got 360-degree views here. It's got what we asked for.
Well, the perfect start to our journey, and I had high hopes for day 2, as we began by travelling south to my home county of Herefordshire and the village of Marden. The property in question was a 16th century cottage with a lucrative addition that Tracy spotted immediately.
It looks like it might have a bit of a business up and running.
It absolutely does. You've got what would be your house here, the white bit,
Pretty.
and then over here, timber-framed building which has got 2 two-bedroom holiday cottages in it that are raring to go.
Ooh.
The cottages were an ongoing business opportunity that could provide an income of around £30,000 a year. They were occupied by tenants at the time, so we began our tour in the large reception room of the main house, where once again it was the period features which caught our couple's attention.
A lot of character. I love the timber beams.
Yeah.
Nice big fireplace.
Kind of classic cottage feel, really.
Yes, it
and
has,
that
actually.
feel, you know, is evident in the kitchen.
I like the flag floors as
Yeah,
well.
flag floor is always a bonus, isn't it?
Oh, this is nice.
Come on through.
It feels cottagey, but without me having to worry about cracking my head every time I go and put the kettle on.
The kitchen had a separate utility room, and down sized bedrooms.
Oh, this is nice.
Still lots of character. Beams as well.
Nice room.
The mature grounds covered an acre, and each of the holiday cottages had their own private outdoor space. There was also a garden lodge, which could have provided a third holiday let. This was a ready-to-go business opportunity, which Tracy and Chris believed would result in a significantly higher price tag.
I'm going to optimistically say 950.
Yeah. Chris?
I'd probably say maybe 875.
This is currently on the market for an asking price of £850,000.
I've got tingles.
Although it hadn't provoked the same initial reaction as our first property, we'd ended on a high.
It's a stunning property.
It's an up and running business. It's a very lovely house.
I can't imagine how many thousands of hours have gone into making these gardens look so beautiful. They really set it off.
Well, our first two property offerings were packed with period features. One had a business ready to go and the other had bags of potential. And it was heartening to see just how well Chris and Tracy judged each one on its merits. But of course, we still had our mystery house to reveal, one I was praying they would love.
Our mystery house was located in the village of Cleehonga and was previously run as a guest house. As well as offering a viable business, it was also packed to the rafters with history.
How do you fancy living in a beautiful old Victorian vicarage?
I've always had a bit of a thing for vicarages. Vicarages, not vicars.
Well, I might not see you for about a week at a time if we're in here. No, it's very impressive indeed. Slightly worrying about bills and things like that, but...
This imposing mid-Victorian vicarage boasted an incredible 8 bedrooms and had brought in over £500 a night as a guest house. Having made a good first impression outside, the couple were also impressed by the 2 reception rooms.
It's really lovely, isn't it? All shutters.
It's actually a really nice size.
Well, if you like this room, I actually prefer the other one.
Oh, really?
Come and look at this, yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, wow, a lovely room. It looks almost austere from the outside and a bit gothic.
Yeah.
And then you come in and it's warm and welcoming and it's lovely.
There was a large kitchen and utility room that oozed character with original features like a bread oven in the wall. A downstairs double bedroom benefited from its own bathroom, snug and separate entrance to the property. And the other 7 bedrooms were upstairs, 5 of them with en suites, the largest of which would have been ideal for Chris and Tracy.
It's really lovely. What a beautiful room.
It's incredible, isn't it?
And although the garden wasn't as big as some we'd seen, this house didn't require any further accommodation for holidaymakers. But they were keen to know if this substantial property had an equally substantial price tag.
I think it's going to be top end of the budget. I'm going to go for 950,000.
I think 995.
It's on the market for £850,000.
Jeez. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of...
It's a lot of property for your money, isn't it?
It certainly was, and it had given them plenty to ponder.
I'm glad we've seen it. It's definitely given me food for thought.
It's how you divide upstairs and keep a number of the rooms for guests and yet keep your own private area private.
During our time together, we'd seen some glorious homes, each with historic quirks and character, plus a wide variety of holiday let potential, all well within budget. It's fair to say I'd given them a lot to think about.
Well, it's been just 9 months since I showed Londoners Chris and Tracy around what was, frankly, a remarkable selection of properties. But of course, they could buy only one. Well, I am thrilled to say that eventually they bought the first property we showed them, this amazing and very quirky barn conversion. I say I'm thrilled. In truth, I'm a little bit jealous because, frankly, if they hadn't bought it, I was very, very tempted. But let's see how they're getting on in their wonderful new home. Guys, it's so good to be back. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Delighted to see you. Genuinely delighted to see you. I'm so pleased you finally bought it, if I am a little bit envious. But look, it's roasting out here. Can we get in the shade?
Yeah, come on in.
Although Chris and Tracy only moved in 6 months ago, they've already started adding their own touches to the property. And I'm looking forward to another look around that incredible kitchen.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is what sold it to me and obviously sold it to you as well. It is the most remarkable kitchen I think I've ever seen. And I love what you've done with the table there, because there was a sort of island arrangement, wasn't there, in the middle?
Yeah.
But you've opened it right up.
Yeah, we did think we'd put our big dining room table in here, but this tends to be our sort of day room, so comfy and cosy.
One has one's day room. And look at all this, the detailing, these marble pillars. I mean, goodness knows where that came from. It's an interesting one, isn't it, as to how you put your stamp on a building which already has such a big personality.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That was a challenge at first, but I think we're feeling more comfortable now, aren't we?
The right buyer's got the right house. I'm so pleased for you.
In the reception room, they're in the process of adding new flooring, but their tastes are beginning to shine through with their choice of furnishings.
Yeah, I remember this. I mean, it's so cosy, isn't it? I love that.
This is new.
Is it?
We finally dispensed with our £45 second-hand sofa that we bought when we first met 15 years ago.
We added curtains as well because it felt a little austere in here with just the blinds.
Oh,
and curtains are my thing, so...
And did you make these?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
I think Chris and Tracy are doing absolutely the right thing by enjoying the property and gradually adding their own touches as they get a feel for which bits work for them. It's easy to see why they instantly fell in love with the house, and I'm delighted they managed to secure it so quickly.
Now, I'm going to let you into a little secret. I mean, you know I love this property. and when I said I wanted to buy it, I wasn't actually joking, because for the 2 or 3 weeks after I'd left you, I kept looking online to see if it was still for sale. And I was trying to persuade my wife to come and look at it, but I thought it would be a bit cheeky if I bought the property, or we bought it, before you had. So I was delighted to finally get the call from the office to say, yep, Chris and Tracy have done it. Their offer's been accepted. You didn't really want a project, and yet there is this extensive job to be done.
We always expected that there'd be a degree of work to do, and even if it was just furnishings, you know, just refreshing furnishings, there would be something to do. And this is just, you know, it's just a little bit more preparation, I think, to get it done.
I love that. A little bit more preparation, because I know originally, as planned, there's going to be another master bedroom upstairs, isn't there?
Yeah.
And 2 en-suites, I think, sharing that grey projection, and another living room down below. Is that what you're going to go for broadly?
Yeah, pretty much. But the big change we've made is the ensuite. I love a bath, and we couldn't get a bath in there if it was split. So we're going to be greedy and have that all to ourselves and have a really luxurious ensuite and cheat a bit out of the dressing room in the middle above it to put a decent, nice-sized shower for the guest room.
So what are you thinking about the roof then?
Well, we like the idea of a metal roof to make it distinct from, so you've got the stone with the slate and then the brick with some sort of zinc or similar roof. So we're looking at the possibilities of that at the moment.
Let's talk about your plans for a business, because that was key to your search, wasn't it?
We're looking at the moment, we've put in a pre-planning application for 2 lodges at the garden, one at the top and then one halfway down. They'll be very remote from each other, so you'll be in them and won't even realise there's someone else staying. It'll be open plan living inside, but with a bed, sitting area, kitchen, shower. You know, whether you put a hammock, couple of hammocks up, or swing chairs on the balcony, just so you can sit and take in the views.
You've clearly got a fair bit to do. If you've got a list of jobs, I'm more than happy to muck in.
There's a couple of things on the table at the moment, so if you're free for a couple of hours,
absolutely.
Really helpful.
Yeah, well, the more time you spend here, the better, as far as I'm concerned. You've got it for the rest of your lives then. Right, come on then.
Thank you, Jules.
Although Chris and Tracy were moving to the country for a quieter way of life, they were hoping there would still be plenty to do. And with 4 acres of land to look after, there certainly is.
The grass here could do with a bit of a cut. How do you fancy it?
Do you know, so many people I meet on Escape to the Country dream of having a ride-on mower.
Proper boy toy.
So with this then, you're not collecting grass, are you?
No, we're not. What it does, it recirculates the grass as it's being cut. It's chopped up nice and small, goes back into the grass, and the nitrogen goes back into the soil. So,
are you going to let me have a play with your new toy?
I think you should. I'd love to. It's a life experience.
How exciting. I've always fancied this. Right, got some ear defenders here. I suspect it is quite noisy, isn't it?
It is. I'd definitely recommend having some ear protection.
Right then. Oh, there we go. Engage the blades. Oh, there we are. Now we're cutting. Here goes. Look at that! Absolutely love it. Oh, it's so easy. I'll tell you what, Trace. If Tracy got one as well, you could have a race. Oh, if only it was this easy at Hudson Towers.
Did you enjoy that?
I haven't finished, to be fair, but no, this is a joy, isn't it?
It really is. It just gets you round the obstacles quickly.
The point is, country life need not be difficult.
No.
Whatever you can get your hands on to make it that little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, mate. Great fun. Right then, I better get cracking on the rest of it, hadn't I?
There's a bit to do.
Put the kettle on.
I'm thrilled that the property is fulfilling Chris and Tracy's needs, but I'm interested to hear more about how they've settled into the area.
So how have you managed to get on with the challenges of moving in the winter and lockdown and all the rest of it? Have you managed to make some friends?
You couldn't find a friendlier community, and our neighbours have knocked on the door within a week of us being here and brought us eggs, and it's just incredibly friendly.
Here it just seems you walk into town and whether it's recognising us from Escape or whether it's just because, you know, people know that we've come from they call it the shack locally.
Well, I mean, not to take away from it, but in fairness, with a tin roof like that,
yeah,
you can see why.
Yeah.
I joined the WI.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jam in Jerusalem.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And they have a walking group, so that was a lovely way, even during lockdown, for me to go out and meet some people.
You both look very, very well.
We've both
Healthier.
lost weight since we sold the house in London.
Yeah.
So we're feeling. I'm feeling livelier and able to take things on.
My asthma is all but gone, and it's clear air, it's clean, it's fresh.
Guys, it's very, very exciting. I said it before, I'll say it again. The right house got the right people in you two. I'm so thrilled that we were able to introduce this remarkable property to you. I'm only down the road if you need any help or advice. Thanks for having us back, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you, Jules.
You know, moving to the countryside isn't just about buying a property. It's often about embarking upon a completely different way of life. And while some may seek the sort of peace and tranquility that comes with splendid isolation, others too want access to a spot of culture. Well, after years of living in Bristol with ready access to its bars and cafes, my next set of buyers wanted to hear nothing more in their new home than the sound of birdsong.
Back in July 2017, David and Gerald had notched up a decade living together in Bristol, but were looking to call time on the cacophony of city life.
Bristol is a very vibrant city. It has got a lot busier in the 30 years I've lived here.
Gerald was an electrician who enjoyed DIY projects, and David a university lecturer in Bristol, so needed to remain close to the city, but felt the draw of the countryside.
I used to notice that when we drove over the Severn Bridge, got into Wales, and it would get greener, and I would kind of feel my shoulders dropping, and just that sense of kind of being relaxed and comfortable.
What I'm really looking forward to is actually being able to sit out in the mornings, weather permitting, and be able to have a cup of tea, and all you can hear is just the bird song. That would be idyllic for me.
They hoped their new way of life would allow for a family addition or two.
One of the key opportunities for us in moving to the countryside is getting a dog.
At least one dog.
I think the at least one dog is news to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, we've not had that discussion.
David and Gerald were looking for a two-bedroom home with countryside views and peaceful scenery. David needed to be within an hour of Bristol, and Gerald was clearly hoping he might get a pair of dogs. They had a budget of £500,000, provided the property needed no work. Our search began on the edge of the Brecon Beacons National Park, up a winding mountain road above the small village of Llanellan, just an hour from Bristol. The cottage I showed them was beautiful, but David and Gerald seemed a bit distracted.
It's very hard almost to look at the house when... I mean, the house looks lovely, but you're just drawn to that, really, aren't you?
Yeah, they are big views. Wow.
I think it's a bit magical.
Eventually, I managed to drag them away from the spectacular scenery to explore this 200-year-old traditional stone cottage. It had been extended in the 1980s, but we started in the sitting room within the original part of the house.
Nice big stone fireplace.
Yeah, and again, I mean, your eyes going out, look. I mean, sitting here just enjoying that. But this is a nice size room.
The kitchen was located in the new part of the house, but once again, it was the views that had captured David's attention.
From the outside, you can see it was extended that way, but it's also been extended this way.
It just draws you in, doesn't it? It does captivate you.
My main worry is on the day that I have to get to work, and I'm sat here having my breakfast and I'm looking out there, how am I ever going to get to the office?
Yeah, well...
Upstairs, there were 3 attractive bedrooms and a family bathroom.
I was surprised there was a bathroom upstairs, because I thought cottage of this age, there would be...
Tin bath in front of the fire, Gerald, yeah.
OK, imagine that you're just, like, in bed, you're having a cup of tea, you're reading the paper, and just listen. OK, and that's just priceless.
While the house had all the right features, it was definitely the location that most appealed to David and Gerald. The cottage was set in an acre of peaceful garden with an exceptional vista as far as the eye could see, and the couple had been excited to find out whether the priceless location was affordable.
I think this decision could be made a lot easier if this were yours for £425,000.
Ah, that's a nice surprise.
Yeah, isn't it just?
Well, it certainly appealed to David and Gerald and was £75,000 under their budget, so we were off to a great start. We continued our search over the border in the English county of Gloucestershire and the village of Lidbrook, which was still just an hour from Bristol. Once again, the house was in a rural location just outside the village with glorious views of the Wye Valley. And this time, the house itself made a strong first impression.
Wow, looks impressive.
Yeah, I really like the shape.
You like the shape?
It's that kind of rather classic, solid, big frontage. I like the look of the bay. I think that's rather nice.
Originally, the house was 2 cottages, but had since been renovated into 1 and extended. We kicked off our tour in the kitchen, where the decor proved a hit.
This is nice. Yeah, very nice.
It's very alluring.
As you can see through there, you've got a corridor which goes along the whole back end of the house, giving you boot room, downstairs loo, you know, cloakrooms, etc.
Okay. And if you realise your ambition to have at least 1 rescue dog, and having something like a boot room, utility room, and that's perfect, isn't it, right?
That's kind of a must, really, isn't it?
Knowing the importance the couple placed on location, I couldn't wait to show them the views from the sitting room.
Go on, grab a pew. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Just adopt the position, glass of red.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. And actually, perhaps on a clear night, you've got a great sky view, haven't you?
That's a very good point. But I'm also thinking you are going to see the seasons unfold through that window. You know, the passing of the agricultural year will be the metronome to your new rural life.
Poetic.
Just because I've sat down, you see. Because I've sat down.
That view as well.
Come on.
Upstairs, there was a family bathroom, along with 3 guest rooms and the master bedroom with walk-in wardrobes and an ensuite.
This is lovely. It is beautifully done.
And it has the same tranquility. I mean, it's still quiet, incredibly quiet, peaceful.
Yeah.
The garden was split across different levels with far-reaching views across the valley. There were several outbuildings, including one attached to the property that could be converted into David's workshop and would benefit from windows to incorporate the magnificent views.
That sounds good. I just got a feeling that I might have to fight for that space if we buy this. Yeah.
Yeah, first I think it's crying out for a beautiful orangery. So the spanners will have to live somewhere else.
Yeah, fair enough. OK, let's talk about the price then.
Because I like it a lot, I think it's worth a lot, so £4.90.
£4.90, yep.
That's £5.10.
This is on the market for £475,000.
OK. Ooh.
Doable.
25 left for the orangery.
Yeah. 25 left for the orangery, yeah. Yeah.
So on paper, a similar home to our first, and they were similarly taken by it.
I think what stood out for me was that sense of I can see quickly how we would live here.
Yeah. Really lovely and beautiful spot it's in. And
I think there's that cliche, isn't there, about a house that gives you a hug? And I think this house has that feel.
Now, in my experience, it's always a great joy when, having revealed the price of a particular property to our buyers, they start figuring out what they're going to do with the change that's left over, provided, of course, there is some. In this case, David was quick off the mark to start planning an orangery to add to that amazing second property. So I knew I was on to a winner. However, for our mystery house, I was about to reveal something that was packed full of period grandeur.
For our last stop, we travelled back into Monmouthshire to the hamlet of Pantygethley, just outside Abergavenny.
Today, I think we're going to try something completely different.
oh,
Any ideas what it might be, Gerald?
a flat in a multi-storey block.
Well, that might not be so far from the truth.
OK, I'm mildly nervous.
Well, unfortunately, the weather had put a bit of a dampener on the views and perhaps also the first impressions.
I'm intrigued, I have to say, because it looks so grand.
I suppose I find the prospect mostly unappealing. I'm going to say totally open-minded.
Excellent, that's all I wanted to hear. Go and have a look.
Throughout its life, this striking Georgian building had enjoyed various incarnations, the most recent of which was this brand new 10-property development. I was confident David would begin to warm to it once we got out of the rain.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is very slick. Yeah. And a staircase.
I totally appreciate it. It's very smart.
Hold your thoughts.
Yeah.
I know there's a but, OK? But have a look through here because, you know, I think this is gorgeous. I mean, you know, as kitchen diners go.
Oh, look at those views. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very.
It's almost a reluctant beautiful from David.
All the rooms had high Georgian ceilings and generous floor space, especially the main bedroom with its ensuite and walk-through wardrobe.
This is yours.
Wow. Massive. So big. God.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And look at those views again.
I mean, and it's very quiet, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, supremely quiet.
One of the reasons this was the mystery house was that the only private outdoor space was the courtyard, but the property did share 8 acres of communal gardens, and they could certainly see its value.
I think it's 500,000.
Yeah?
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was thinking, you know, 499,995, but essentially 500 because it's beautiful.
It's £475,000.
Wow.
So it seemed a bargain as far as our couple were concerned, but although Gerald had been impressed by it, David just hadn't felt that connection.
It is a lovely place, good space, good size, and beautifully finished.
It is very seductive, but I felt very unseduced.
Despite that, both David and Gerald had been bowled over by the area, most of our properties and, of course, the outstanding panoramas. So I was pretty certain they wouldn't waste too much time before making their country move.
Now, when I was house hunting with David and Gerald 4 years ago, one of the key priorities on their wish list was having a home with a view. Clearly here on the Welsh Borders, we were never going to struggle when it came to gorgeous vistas. In many respects, we were spoilt for choice. Now, keen-eyed viewers amongst you may recognise behind me the outline of the Sugarloaf Mountain, one of the most distinctive peaks in the Brecon Beacons. You could see this from property number 1. And although they went back for a second viewing on that property, it wasn't the one they bought. But I can't wait to see what finally took their fancy.
Well, we came very close with that first cottage near Abergavenny, and just 4 months after our property search, Gerald and David found this gorgeous home just a few miles west of it, which they bought for £420,000.
Well, lads, look at you two.
Hi,
living the dream. Great to see you again.
And you.
I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Yeah, I know.
And who's this? Because you talked about getting a dog.
It's little Roxy.
Hello, Roxy.
It's the rescue dog that we talked about.
Wow.
And we got her. I think this is not a bad place for a dog.
Wow. I mean, we talked about finding you a home with a view, and that is a view, isn't it? That's absolutely stunning.
I know.
We've done well.
And let's be honest, we're not a million miles away from property number 1, are we?
We're one hill over. I mean, literally, it's over there behind that hill. It was really inspiring, actually, seeing that property. It cemented us here in this area.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think Abergavenny, Monmouthshire.
My eye is absolutely drawn to that amazing looking kitchen and those bifold doors. Can you give me a quick wander around?
Yeah, sure.
After you then. Wow, this is fabulous, isn't it? So did you have to add this on?
No, this was here. The only thing we did was put in this these bifolds so that we could get the best of that view.
We had said that we would do nothing for at least 12 months, just live in the property.
Yeah.
But we couldn't live with that, knowing the view was the other side, and we couldn't see it, so...
I mean, it's 30 degrees today, but it's nice and cool in here and you can enjoy the view, but I imagine also you've seen some pretty brutal winters over the last few years.
Oh. We have. Our first winter was, you know, the so-called beast from the east.
Yeah.
We were snowed in for almost a week. That winter was wild. I mean, it was a baptism of fire.
We felt even more remote, which we kind of liked even more, weirdly.
But even though you're only 10 minutes from Abergavenny?
Yeah, I mean, we're so close, but we felt so far away.
We were cut off by the snow, but we had nowhere to be.
Yeah.
So we just stared out at, it was incredibly beautiful.
And if the cold winters do set in, there's a beautifully warm living room on the other side of the house.
Ah, this is cosy, isn't it?
And actually, you know, it's really hot today, isn't it? So it's beautifully cool in here. Yeah. And then in winter, it's very snuggy. We light the fire, we hunker down.
And that fire, it's huge.
Yeah.
You must roast in here.
It's sauna-esque when it's on full blast. But it's atmospheric. I mean, when we moved in first, we had no TV, no internet or anything like that. So the fire was just great company as well as the view.
Yeah, that's, well, nature's TV, we call it, don't we? When you
Absolutely,
look at an open fire. Clearly seem very happy with it.
You know, it's odd. It's such a big transition. And I remember feeling at home day one. Yeah. You know, as if we'd never really lived anywhere else.
I thought we would struggle, but not at all, did we?
No.
Their new home also benefits from 4 bedrooms and a couple of bathrooms, but we're heading outside to take in those all-important views and to find out exactly what made this one the right one.
I mean, we have referred often back to property number 1 because there are so many similarities, not least the view, of course, but you know, the way it sat on the hill, you know, as does this one. What was it about that particular property, though, that really made it a no?
Yes, I mean, we liked property 1, but it didn't quite fit exactly what we needed or wanted at the time, but it just gave us something we didn't think we were going to be able to afford or get, was a view like that. And that's what, you know, really happened on that day. We were like, wow, you know, this is, we can have this, you know, and that was a nice feeling, wasn't it?
It was. And one of the useful things about seeing House 1 was it really reinforced how pragmatic we had to be. I think you have to be. So, you know, this is a lovely house, but neither of us came here and thought this is the house of our dreams. What I thought was this house is like 80% right, and if we wait, what are we waiting for? You know, what are we're gonna delay and then find a plot or a house with other compromises?
My view on the perfect house is that it's the house that makes you want to embrace its imperfections.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've done. And I've just noticed that up there.
It's where I go to work every day. This is, I can show you my commute.
So, Gerald, clearly your handiwork.
Yeah, it's not mine.
But wow, what a spot. I mean, do you get any work done?
Yeah, I do. My boss might be watching. Yes, I do. You know, I've been working from home the last year and a half, like lots of people. So what a joy. It's odd to say that a view is good company, but it is.
I like it.
I think it is.
That's a great way of putting it.
And I tell you, the time you notice, if you're ever here on your own, I've never felt particularly kind of lonesome here on my own, because there is that.
And what about neighbours?
Yeah, we've met virtually all, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 houses around. We mix with them really well, so, and they've been very welcoming.
You see your locals.
Yeah.
I think it's a cliche too, but having a dog immediately introduces you to.
Yes, that's true.
So you know all the like Abergavenny dog walkers. It's interesting, obviously, you don't know the names of the humans, you just know the dogs.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I know all their dogs.
Well, look, should we go and take Roxy for a little wander?
Yeah.
And enjoy yet more of this landscape on this spectacular day?
Yeah.
Come on
Absolutely.
then. Where's your dog?
Situated to the south of the Brecon Beacons, the area is a haven for wildlife, with the horizon dominated by that peak of the Sugarloaf, which stands just shy of 600 metres.
I guess one of the difficulties when you take on a new home is that it's very tempting to just get head down into renovating, holding down the day job, and forgetting that you do need to give yourself time to explore your new area, don't you? Are you good at that? Have you made time to get out here and really get to grips with it?
We're getting better, I think.
Getting better?
Yeah, because you kind of trying to balance the two.
Yeah.
You know, get the house sorted, but also enjoy where you live. And, you know, and I'm not really good at stopping when I've got a project going, so...
I mean, I guess another, I think, another great thing about having the dog. So we have to go out and walk the dog. Let's go and explore another hill. Let's go find another part of the park, you know, and that's brilliant. That kind of almost forces the issue.
Yeah.
Guys, it's great to see you here. And Roxy, having found a new home as well. You've all escaped to the country, haven't you?
Very true, yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. Come on then. Pub's open, yeah?
Yes.
David's pragmatism and Gerald's practical skills not only have given them a home with a view, but one they are slowly transforming into their dream country property. But as for Tracy and Chris, wow, for me, they are in the most idyllic location. And whilst it's true to say they've probably taken on more of a project than even they hoped for, seeing how happy they are reassures me that they've absolutely done the right thing. So 2 sets of buyers in 2 different properties, but both united in their determination to make the very best of their new country lives. I'll see you next time.
If you also dream of escaping to the country in Wales, Scotland, England or Northern Ireland and would also like our help, why not apply online at bbc.co.uk/take part.